This is Again for the First Time with your host, Darren Redmond.
I am extremely motivated, happy, blessed, whatever you want to say, because those of you who've been following the podcast who know me know that even though I couldn't hit a curveball when I was 13 and dead red, that's it, and then I had to stop. That's why I played football, because it was easy for me just to hit the fat guy in front of me, because it takes some talent that I did not have to do other things. I love baseball. And I became a fan of Jeff Frye long before I knew he was just this outstanding keynote speaker. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But first of all, I knew his career because I followed baseball like nobody's business. But not like one of these wonks that I played all-star baseball as a kid and not Stratomatic, because I wasn't bright enough to do Stratomatic. All-star baseball was for the guys that a little simpler, 9 is a walk, 1 is a ground out. That's it. Anyway, so Jeff Frye is my guest today. We're going to talk about what he does as a keynote speaker. We're going to talk about Qigong, which I love. I am part of Qigong Nation, in case people didn't know that. I'm a happy member of it, whether he even did not know that. Jeff Frye, again, for the first time, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, Darren. I appreciate you having me on here today. Sorry I was a couple minutes late. I'm generally early rather than late, but I do appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk a little bit of baseball tonight.
Well, I appreciate that more than you know. Like I said, I'm an avid fan, and I just love what you bring to your Twitter is outstanding. It's as you know, it's part of my everyday. I literally read it, and that's no bullshit. I mean, it is, because to me it's refreshing, and it's not some older guy going, get off my lawn. It's like, what happened? There's an old saying in when I was coaching college football after I stopped playing, it would be like, what don't you understand? The chocolate or the chip? It's a fucking cookie, And it just seems like we want to reinvent the wheel. I mean, you had a post that you pinned a while ago, early today, where the guys on the board and these are, I mean, what are we trying to do? Reinvent the wheel? All of this stuff is just natural stuff. If you may, before we talk about your career and some other things, walk me through your inclination where you said, you know what, this stuff's just stop it.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm on a group text with some good buddies of mine in Texas, and all three of them at one point have been scouts for Major League Baseball organizations. 2 of them still are currently, and we send each other some of the silly training stuff that we see on social media. And so I happened to see one, and I posted it one day as a joke, and then all these people on Twitter.
That guy.
I wasn't even new on. I mean, I was relatively new on Twitter, and all of a sudden I post this video, and my buddy's like, "Man, you got 4,000 views on your video." I was like, "What does that mean?" I don't know what that means. But then I got all this direct messages from these people attacking me and calling me names and my kids, and I was like, "What is this crap? What did I do?" I opened this can of worms, and they don't know me very well. They don't know that. When I was in the minor leagues, I wanted a Rawlings glove deal, and the infield instructor, Perry Hill, went to Rawlings and asked them to give me a glove, and they said, no, he's not on our list. So he went over to Wilson. Wilson gave me a glove for that season. I made the all-star team. Next spring training, I was on Rawlings' list, and they wanted to give me a contract. And I said, no, thank you.
That's right. Nice.
Played with Wilson my entire 15-year career out of spite because they were loyal to me. And so the people that came after me, they didn't understand that all they did was inspire me to make more videos. Then I made a video, and I guess it went viral or something. At the end, I said Qigong, and somebody said,
yep,
you need to hashtag that Qigong. I was like, all right, I'll do it. I said, but what does that mean? What's going to happen now? And then it just kind of started from there. And I did that originally just to develop more of a presence on social media so I could go out and do my keynote speaking stuff and tell my story.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that because I have not yet, full disclosure, folks. And again, I will never lie to you unless I have to. No, I will never lie to you, period. But I have not been able to attend anything that you've been a keynote, but I've heard wonderful things, and I want to, and I want to get into that. But before that, I mean, you played, with the Blue Jays. You played with the Rangers, who you signed with, and now I live in Cape Cod now, and I told a couple of people that we're going to talk today, and they all remember you playing in Boston. Let's start there. When you got the call that you made the show, walk me through that, if you don't mind. People love hearing that stuff.
Yeah, I was in AAA for the Rangers,
Mhm.
and we were on the road in Louisville. And back in those days, we didn't get very much meal money, so we weren't eating 3 meals a day. You'd have to sleep past breakfast and eat lunch, so you had enough money for dinner. And so we would normally take our phone off the hook or get a do not disturb. And this, for whatever reason, we didn't this one day. And I actually had a roommate. We still had roommates back then. And the phone rang at 9 in the morning, and it was my AAA manager, Tommy Thompson. And I had just made the all AAA, all 3 leagues all-star team, which was, a big honor. And he said, he called me and said, "You're not going to the AAA all-star game." I said, "I'm not." He goes, "Nope, you're going to another level. Come up to my room. I'll give you the details." And I didn't say a word. I just looked across the room at my roommate, Bobby Brower, and just looked at him. And he goes, "You're going to the big leagues." He goes, "And you're not coming back either." And so I went up to my manager's office, and he was all excited. They get excited when their guys get called up.
Sure you do.
So, off to Arlington, Texas, I went and, played my first game for the Rangers that night, and Nolan Ryan pitched for the Rangers. It was just,
oh my God, that had to be unbelievable.
Experience. I went 2 for 3 with 3 runs, scored a triple RBI, and was player of the game. My first game in the big leagues, and then it was kind of all downhill after that, buddy.
No pun intended. I have to ask, since you brought that up, were you there when Robin Ventura made that really stupid decision to charge Nolan?
Yes, I was. I was in the dugout, and it was 1993, and I was on the disabled list because I tore my ACL in the off season, so I missed the whole season. So they had rules back then where disabled list guys, 60-day disabled list guys, are not allowed to be in the dugout.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't about to miss the action, so I would just put a jacket on so they didn't know it was me, couldn't see my name.
Sure.
And so I went to run out after Nolan hit Robin and he charged the mound. I started running out on the field, and from behind me, the head trainer, Danny Wheat, grabbed me by my jacket and held me in the dugout and said, "You're not allowed to go out there." I wish I had pulled away and ran out there because it was one of the greatest, scenes in the history of the game. But I was.
And a lot of people don't realize Bo Jackson was in that medley as well, correct? Or was that later?
Yeah, that's a big part of the stories because Nolan got pinned on the bottom of the pile and was really having a hard time breathing. I mean, you get that many men out there on top of each other fighting, you never know. And he said it just kind of cleared open, and all of a sudden this guy pulled him out from off the bottom, and it was Bo Jackson, which, for a guy from the other team to do that is pretty fascinating.
Well, you only hear good things about Bo. He's a classy person,
Yeah.
And by the way, most people don't realize, and tell me if I'm wrong, Nolan continued to pitch. He wasn't even thrown out of the game.
Yeah.
That would have never happened today, unfortunately.
No, not with all these umpire warnings and
horrible.
If they think you threw at somebody, they'll warn somebody, and it's
right.
Yeah, Nolan stayed in the game. I think got ejected though.
He should have. Embarrassed us. Bad decision. I mean, as a Met fan, and I don't know why. I understand. Anyway, he's been interviewed about that a couple of times, and he used to say that by the time he took that second step, he knew it was stupid. He made a bad decision.
Yeah, you could see he wasn't committed. He's like, he started doing it, and then he's like, "Oh crap! Now I've already passed the point of no return." And
They just said, let me say we're beating like a man. That's
the thing about Robin Ventura. From everybody I've ever talked to, he's a great guy.
100%. That's what I hear too.
He was a hell of a player, man. He had a great career.
Oh, yeah, it's a Grand Slam single, you know.
Yeah.
And let's talk. Well, one other thing before let's put that aside. 1977 or 78, the great George Brett slides hard into Craig Nettles or the other way around, and they have a brawl. I mean, they're throwing punches, and they don't get thrown out of the game. Now, if you throw anywhere near a guy's, back, they're throwing him out.
And suspended.
Oh, and suspended. And Hernandez is probably calling it a strike. Just
yeah. Well, you saw. I mean, it really ended up hurting the Houston Astros in their series with the Angels.
Absolutely.
When their reliever who hit Adolis Garcia got suspended.
Yeah, which was just ridiculous. Let the boys play. Let them play. I mean, it's part of it. It used to be part of the game. And I'm sorry, the game used to manage itself very well. And they just, the more you try to fix things, a lot of times, the more you make it worse. And I'm sorry to make it worse. Speaking of that, what's going on with all this and the hitting and all these people out there sucking young people's money? Talk to me a little bit about that.
It's really sad. And that's really one of the main focuses of my social media stuff is to try and educate parents that are out there. All they're trying to do is get their kids the best instruction. And I guess they just don't have a good place to find instructors, and they go to social media and they assume if somebody has a big following on social media, they must know what they're talking about. And I mean, you can look at the videos, and some of the stuff these guys are teaching is just complete opposite of what we were taught as kids. Don't drop your back shoulder. Don't raise your front elbow. Don't drop the barrel. And that's what they're teaching. And it's mind-boggling that that people are buying into this idea that every kid has to try and hit home runs now.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm going to jump all over the place. When did this launch angle crap start? When did this become a thing? I always thought you drive through the ball, hit it up the middle, hit it up the middle, hit it up the middle. That's the way I was taught. This launch angle nonsense. When did that happen?
I think it's when the analytics guys start taking over baseball.
Yep.
You mean the analytics? All these really smart guys who really
got beat up a lot in school.
Yeah, they all Ivy Leaguers who have come, they figured it out, man. They've got the algorithms and everything, and so now you don't have to shorten up with 2 strikes and put the ball in play. Now you just got to keep swinging for the fences, and over the course of the year, you're going to drive in more runs and hit 220 with 30 homers and 70 ribbies, and that's a productive season now.
It's horrible. When you can't lay down a bunt to move a guy over, I mean, they literally can't, or they're told not to. And when they try to, it's anemic. They can't. It scares me. It really scares me. It gives me, there's a term I'm not going to say, but it rhymes with douche chills. It's horrible. I mean, they can't lay down a bunt.
There was some organization, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, I saw where a professional organization said they were no longer going to practice bunting during spring training.
Yes, I've read that too.
I've heard that you're not allowed to use a batting tee anymore. And they're just trying to reinvent this stuff, and the stuff that, all you got to do is go to YouTube and watch a Tony Gwynn video. Simple, and that guy was pretty good, but you'll have experts today who say that he wasn't really that great a player because his OPS was only a certain level, and meanwhile the guy was hitting 340 every year and winning batting titles. Please, absolutely. I see this guy's war and this guy's war, and stop. To me, again, old guy, guilty as charged. Give me batting average, give me on base percentage, give me home runs, give me RBIs, and how's the guy doing in the field? And that's it. And stolen bases, please. You watch that movie Moneyball, and it's true. They said no stolen bases on this team. Well, how many world championships did the A's get? The Vegas A's, by the way. None.
But and the team in the 70s who ran, they bunted Burst Campaneris, Sal Bando, the list goes on and on. They won a couple championships. But what happened? All of a sudden,
I think they won 3 in a row.
yeah, 3 in a row.
2, 73 and 74, and it was like Billy Ball, and it was making things happen, and it was exciting and fun. And now, we did see this year the Diamondbacks, they kind of play a little bit different style of baseball, where a lot of people call it small ball. I just think it's baseball.
It's baseball.
Move them over. It's kind of, and actually, I don't know if you saw the MLB Network thing today about Joe Carter. That was really good.
I didn't get a chance to see it. No.
Talking about driving in runs and how he was a different player when he came up with runners in scoring position as opposed to nobody on base, and his job was to get those guys in any way he could, and he was great at it.
Yeah,
but now it's like the RBIs are, they claim the RBIs are just a byproduct of where you hit in the lineup. It's just pretty much anybody could do that job in those positions if they hit there.
When you reinvent things to just either try to prove yourself to be something you're not, to sell something, it's all snake oil. It's all don't want to curse again, so I won't. It's just crap. I mean, when I see that they have to ban the shift, and people say because people can't just hit the other way. No, again, this conspiracy guy maybe. I think they don't want to hit the other way because they want to be able to show their average and their launch angles and, again, all this other stuff. I'm sorry, but when Dave Keenan was a home run or a strikeout, right? I mean, I used him because I grew up watching him when the Mets were really pathetic. But I remember a game like it was yesterday when they were playing the Giants, and he bunted when they tried to shift on him, and he bunted, and it worked. You don't find these guys bunting anymore. They can't hit the other way. Pete Rose, would choke up, go the other way, snap the wrist, but none of that anymore. They just don't play that baseball anymore, and it's boring. And I love the game, and it hurts me.
I was so against banning the shift. I was like, we're going to reward these players for not making an adjustment. The best players in the world are refusing to hit the ball where the defense, away from the defense. And so now we're going to reward them and change the rules and say, you can't play where you think this guy's going to hit the ball. Like, how does that make sense to anybody?
I don't know. I mean, and softball and baseball are two different sports, but I coached Division I softball in college. And just this last year, before I moved from California, I was head coach in high school of a girls softball team. And I bring that up because you have, to your point earlier, these well-meaning parents that say, should I go to this? No, just work on the feet, And by the way, off season, do something else. Put down the glove, put down the bat. I want to talk to you about that as well. Go play lacrosse, go play soccer. Here's an idea. Just go out and have a good time. Wayne Gretzky talks about it all the time. I didn't practice a lot. I went out and played with my friends. Yeah. Talk about that. What do you think about the people that say, I'm 14, I got to play one sport all year round?
Yeah, that's a bunch of nonsense. And I mean, Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team when he was a junior in high school. Okay. And so now all these people think that they have to specialize in one sport at an early age, or else the kid won't have a chance. And it's absolutely not true. And I played all sports growing up. We all did. It was you develop certain skills by playing other sports. Basketball was great for vision and your quickness and things like that. Football was good for toughness, even though I got run over a lot when I was in high school, but I still played. Made me tough.
But you were there.
And I was there to be part of my team and with my friends. And I think what we see now, especially in I know it's bad too for girls in the volleyball and the soccer stuff, but boys in baseball and basketball, these kids are playing in these showcases every weekend. And like Perfect Game, I'm not a big fan of Perfect Game. And they're about to have their 9-14 World Series in Las Vegas in December. It's like, why are these kids playing baseball in December?
Because they're draining their money, because the parents that have money and they're trying to suck their money and live off the dream. Listen, I was the director of hockey operations of the president of a team in Fresno, a junior hockey team, who did it the right way. I must say, but there's a lot of teams out there that, they'll, if you have got the money, they'll put your kid on the team, or all you got to do is put them in. My friend has a hockey clinic, and they're just sucking their money dry. And our owner used to look at them and go, no, don't do that. You don't need to do that. Don't do that. So what do you think about the pizza box bases and the pitch clock and all that other stuff? Ghost runner.
It's a joke. I mean, I don't really like any of it. I mean,
neither do I.
The ghost runner is an embarrassment. That the highest level of baseball in the world, that we're going to put an invisible man, reward the guy who made the last out of the last inning. We're going to put him start the inning at second base. It to me is a complete embarrassment. The bases, it's just all part of, trying to keep these grown men safe and not get hurt. And that all started with the Buster Posey rule at home plate, and then the Chase Utley thing at second base, where you can't take guys out now, and it's just this. Using my French, but the pussification of Major League Baseball,
horrible,
really is what it is. And these pitchers can't go. What about the pitchers who refused to pitch in the 8th inning?
That guy was unbelievable. I forget who that was. I mean, are you kidding me? And then
Josh Hader.
Yeah.
He said, "Well, I'm going to be a free agent, and our team's not in the pennant race, and I'm not going to take a chance and hurt my numbers." I'm like, that dude would never step on the field again.
Oh, dude, I feel look at college football. You got some of these people, they won't play in a bowl game because I'm not drafting that guy.
I know, but their agents are saying, hey, you've done enough. You're going to be a first rounder. Screw the rest of your teammates, that you've been going to school with for 3 or 4 years, and that this game might mean a lot to the highlight of their sports career. Probably a lot of those guys that aren't going to go to the NFL, and don't worry about that. Just, go to this NFL combine and worry about your draft. And I can't believe these guys do that. And everybody's just selfish now. It's all.
I try to tell people, look, you're talented, but let me tell you, that agent wants you the piece of this, doesn't care about your long term. Play in the game. You'll remember that forever. Like you said, these are the same people that you rode or died with, locker room, spring training, 2-a-days, riding the buses, that kind of thing.
Your lifelong, a lot of those guys will be your lifelong friends.
Oh, absolutely.
But how's that going to look for them? How are they going to look they're going to totally change their perception of you whenever the money was on the line, you just bailed on all of them and worried about yourself.
I'm going to give you a little tougher one now, and again, not speaking about you personally, or what do you think of, say, when Jose Reyes, right? I keep using Mets because when he won the batting title, when he got up the first time, got a hit, and then took the rest of the day off.
Yeah, that's crap. That's
I think that's awful. That's weak. It's weak sauce.
LeMahieu did that, and then also a guy on the Rays did it this year.
Good.
He didn't play like the last 2 or 3 games of the season, and won by percentage points of Corey Seager, who was playing
every day. But look at Corey Seager, right? I mean, we remember him, and
he'll trade that batting title for the World Series trophy.
100%, 100%. And that guy will forever be the guy on the Rays who did that. He's not Corey Seager.
I got a funny story I was in Double-A, and it was the last game of the season, and I was hitting like 299. And my manager, Bobby Jones, told me that if I get a hit my first time up, he's taking me out of the lineup. I said, no, you're not. And so I didn't get a hit my first time in the lineup, but I ended up going 3 for 4 and ended up hitting 302 on the season. But
see, how great is that?
That's like, we all know the story about what Ted Williams did.
Yep.
What do you go 6 for 8?
6 for
In
8.
the doubleheader and end up hitting 406.
And you know what? You look, I smile because that's baseball, and that's what they're trying to lose. I mean, get rid of. I remember something Tom Seaver said when he was interviewed in 2015. I sincerely pity you and some of your posts when I marry those two things up. He was talking about a time that he was facing Willie McCovey in San Francisco at the old Candlestick Park when it was AstroTurf, and he was just a dangerous hitter. And he was in the 8th inning or 9th inning, it's 8th inning, late in the game. And he goes, okay, what am I going to do? And this actually speaks volumes to the post that you just made about the coach speaking into the ear of the high school player. So he never used to shake off his catcher, Jerry Grody, fastball, slider, whatever. And he keeps shaking him off. And it was a 3-2 count. And he threw him a curveball, right? So he got him out. I forget how they got him out. And they're walking off. And Jerry Grody says, why did you keep shaking me off? You don't throw a curveball. He goes, I did today. Because he said, I was saving it for this moment at this time. They took that away from the game now. With the number of pitches late in the game, 3rd time up, 4th time up, that you don't have that. And like you, I think so eloquently said in your Twitter post, you can't teach kids that anymore because you're not even letting them think.
Yeah, they're a bunch of robots. That starts even in the lower levels now, where coaches are calling pitches in 8 and 9-year-olds.
Right.
All you need to throw is a fastball. Why you need to call?
Exactly right.
Let's teach them how to throw strikes first. We'll start there, and then as they progress and get older, then they can learn the other stuff. But it's really sad that we have to tell these kids what to do on every play because they don't know what to do if we don't tell them now.
Right. And and by the way, God forbid you pitch inside now, and you can't seem to do that anymore because you offended somebody, and it's a horrible thing. So before I let you go, there's a couple of questions I must ask every. I'm sure you got this question a million times. Toughest pitcher you faced?
Oh, it was probably Randy Johnson.
I can imagine why.
He was actually, definitely the most intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy who I couldn't hit for some reason was Mike Mussina. And I really wasn't he was an exceptional pitcher.
Oh yeah, I was going to say he's a great pitcher.
For whatever reason, I just could not hit that guy. I think I was 2 for 24, and he had my number big time.
So were you a chirper? Did you talk a lot of trash when you playing second base, or the guys or we just stick to business?
I have no idea.
Oh, you are good.
I was the guy in the dugout who would, after 3 innings and we got no hits, I would start screaming at the pitcher on the mound from the dugout.
Right. Sure.
I would, say something directed at him, but I wouldn't say his name. I would just something like, "This dude ain't got shit." in the dugout, and he would look in there. I was like, "Yeah, that's right. You ain't got shit. Let's fucking go, boys. Let's do something." Or I'd start rattling the bat rack or throwing, just trying to
see. I love that.
My teammates loved it too because they're like, "Man, you're crazy. You're crazy." I was like, "This dude, let's go, man. We're better than this guy." And I couldn't help myself. That's how I felt, and I felt those 3 hours of the game, man. It was war.
But that's part of the game, isn't it? I mean, that's part of the game. What is the most realistic baseball movie in your opinion?
Man, I think Bull Durham. Everything I saw in Bull Durham, I was like, "That's right. That's right. We're on the buses. We're because I played on a lot. It's funny, I played in a lot of the ballparks in that movie. And the field they did the rain out was our home field in Gastonia.
Oh, that's great.
We actually went there to try and rain it out.
That's great.
Just so much of that was true about the old guy Kevin Costner and the young first round, bonus baby that hasn't got a clue, and just a lot of interactions and stuff. And I think it's not too far fetched that's what it's like. At least when I came up.
Yeah, I used to cover the Fresno Grizzlies of the Pacific Coast League when they were AAA And it was funny. They won the World Series, the Major League team, 3 different times when the minor league teams were based out of Fresno, Washington Nationals and the Houston Astros and San Francisco Giants. And so I got to meet a lot of those guys and talk to a lot of those guys. And, that culture still has not been tapped into, I think. Bull Durham, I think, as you said, when you lived it, I just watched it, was very similar. You have this.
For me, it was. For me, it was. I love the natural too. That's
So Charlie Sheen, what did you think? His pitching in Major League was legit, or not, or was it a little blown up that it was not as good as they say?
Well, I don't think so, but
That's
I
good.
love his character. I loved his. I really love that movie a lot and loved his
Right.
character. I mean, that's a good one too, but I kind of doubt that. So.
I love Pete Vukovich as the player on the Yankees, and he spits. He did a great job. So when you were a kid, who did you emulate? Who was your hero?
Jack Clark.
Oh, nice, good call.
Jack the
So
Ripper. I could imitate his stance, and when I was in the minor leagues, I would really, because I watched so many baseball games growing up, and could, playing wiffle ball, we would always imitate whatever team you were. I was always the Giants, and my cousin was always the Dodgers. So
Right.
when you're, first batter is Bill North,
Right.
the next batter is Bill Madlock, or then I have maybe Jack Clark or Willie McCovey, and or Mike Ivy. I had to hold,
Sure.
I had to hold my hands over my head. So we would imitate all those guys, left or right-handed.
Right.
And he was the Dodgers, and he would, Davey Lopes, Bill Russell,
That's great.
Steve Garvey, Dusty Baker was this guy. So we could do those stances. And when I was in the minor leagues, if we had some downtime, I would just get a bat and go out in front of the dugout and start imitating guys. And my teammates got a kick out of it. They'd try to guess who I was.
Your last full before I'm sorry. One last question. I until the next one. No, one last one. Your last full season with the Blue Jays, you hit for the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? I mean, I smile for you now. That had to feel great. Did you know that would be your last season? I mean,
No, I didn't, but I had a knee injury in spring training and ended up getting a staph infection, and I was hurt the whole season. I'm still embarrassed to this day that I hit 246.
But you were injured. I'm sorry. I don't want to make excuses for you, but you were injured. It wasn't like you were
brought down my career batting average from 292 to 290, which ticked me off. But it was cool. It was kind of a fluke deal, and I wasn't playing every day, but to get to do it against the Rangers and a lot of my old teammates and good friends, especially Darren Aller, that's pretty special.
That's excellent. Well, Jeff, I want to thank you for. Oh, before I go, guys, I want to talk about the keynote, and I almost forgot. Tell me how you started with that, and how could somebody book you?
Yeah, I had gone around to a few places, a few high schools and stuff, and some stuff with the Rangers, and just kind of told my story. And a lot of people came back and said, "Man, you have a great story. You need to go around and tell people that." And I was like, "Yeah, you think so?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I started doing it more and more, and got more and more comfortable doing it. And now I also add in some stuff about character development and leadership, and how we need to really get back to teaching kids about respect.
I think there's your value added plus. I mean,
that the stuff that we grew up with about respecting adults and going out of your way to do something nice for people. And so I started doing that, and it's funny. And when I was in college, I was afraid to give a 5-minute speech, and now I got to speak in the Hall of Fame.
It had to be great.
Gone around to speak all over the country and Canada, and I'm really enjoying it. And if anybody's interested, it's they just go to my website, shigonhitting.com, and they can send me an email, and we can come to terms. It's not I'm not charging an arm and a leg, but I do like to go out and meet new people, and hopefully I can encourage some people to overcome some things in their life that might be holding them back.
I got to tell you, people, it's money well spent. This is a good time of year because come the new year, you businesses out there, you organizations out there, yeah, you have your money, you have your budget for 2024. Fiscal year starts April 1. People, now's the time, book the man, because this keynote speaker here is going to be value added, and I'm telling you, do it. And Jeff, thank you so much, and we hope to speak to you again down the road, and you'll have me laughing tonight when I look at your next post. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, Darren, and I will be speaking in 3 weeks, and actually a little bit over 3 weeks in Texas at the Texas High School Baseball Coaches Association banquet. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I appreciate it.
Oh, that's great. And if you're ever up in Massachusetts, your old home where you play, Fenway, where you ever in Cape Cod, dinner on me. That's what I do with my guests. And that'll be great. And hope to talk to you again soon. Be well.
Darren, thank you very much, sir. Pleasure to meet you.
Bye now.